Wouldn't you leave America? Would you leave America if you could find a 4-bedroom house for $160 a month? Let me show you why so many black Americans are making this move. And guess where they going? The motherland, Ghana. Okay, everybody, how y'all doing? Thank you for tuning in. This is the Proper Perspective Podcast. Before we get started, would you please hit the like button, leave a comment below, turn on the notifications by clicking that bell, and share this podcast, share the channel, share the video with people you know. Spread the word. The Proper Perspective is on the move. Let's get it started. What are we going to be talking about today? Is it now time to leave America? Found this interesting article. Let's see if our technology is working today. Look, station identification break. Let me plug. It's hot over here, which doesn't really make sense for it to be this hot because it's too cold outside, which is another issue I was going to talk about. But it's definitely hot. It's so hot. I'm parched. So, I don't know if you can see this. I'm going to have to resort to putting on some, I got to get this right. Carmex, ladies and gentlemen. When your lips need a little bit of lubrication, Carmex. When you need a little hydration, ladies and gentlemen, Carmex. It does the job. Hello, hydration. I was hurting. Anyhow, back to the matter at hand. So the question is it now time to leave? You've heard of Brexit? Well, BLAXIT describes the exodus of black folks from America. So this article I want to share. This article is from the Philadelphia Inquirer. For American expats in Ghana, their motivations for leaving the U.S. often include worries about racism, housing issues, and economic opportunity. Here are a few of their stories. Now, I'm not going to just sit here and read the article. You can read the article. I'll leave a link in the description below so you can check it out, which is what I usually do when I'm sharing sources. Here's the thing. There are some very interesting stories here. This is one of the reasons why I do like the idea of getting out of America. Because what you will find, like when you stay in America and you don't travel, you end up with the sense that everything that we have here is either A, everything that there is, it's like this everywhere, or B, it can't be any better anywhere else. So whether you want to think that way or not, it sort of seeps into your subconsciousness. That's how you view things. When you get out and travel, because again, now, and in that respect, like you can travel and still say, I'm coming back to America. But when you get out and travel, you get to see another side of things. And a lot of times, you know, if you're just that in love with the country, then a lot of times, whatever you see, you're automatically going to be comparing. So a lot of times you get to another country and you will automatically start saying, yep, this ain't better than what I got there. This ain't better than what I got at home. And that's fine if that's for you. But traveling and going out and getting to see other places, it still opens your mind. So in that regard, I'm definitely in favor of getting on that plane. More importantly, for a lot of people, when you do get to travel, what you begin to see is we haven't been told the truth. It's not that bad outside of America. Now, again, everything is perspective. The proper perspective, everything is perspective. And depending on where you are on the economic totem pole in another country, America could be the best thing since sliced bread. But if you're higher up on that totem pole, you could come to America and be like, this ain't cutting it. This ain't cutting it. Is it time to leave America? I'll say one, the most definitive answer is yes, it is time to leave. The real question is it time to leave America for good? What we talking about?
So much controversy and a lot of deception. You don't know who's coming through with the light and reflection, and whose mouth is mumbling, trick knowledge deceptive. Shabazz break it down with the proper perspective. So much controversy and a lot of deception. You don't know who's coming through with the light and reflection, and whose mouth is mumbling, trick knowledge deceptive. Shabazz break it down with the proper perspective. Shabazz break it down with the proper perspective. break it down with the proper perspective.
Is it time to leave America for good? That every individual has to make that decision for themselves. But it is definitely time to get on those airplanes and travel. Go to Jamaica, go to Barbados, go to Mexico, go to Brazil, go to Ghana, go to Senegal, go to Tanzania, go to Kenya. If you are so inclined, if you feel like you just got to see what the other side of Earth's white people live like, go to England, go to Germany. If you so brave enough, go to Russia. Don't get caught up with no weed in your pocketbook. But, I hear Russian jails aren't up to snuff when compared to American jails, so be careful over there. Go to Dubai. If that's what you want to do. You want to go to Dubai, go on over there. Speak softly so you get thrown in jail. I'm talking too loud. But that's you. At least you getting out there and seeing the world. And you can make your comparisons. This thing's better. It's time to go. It's time to get on the planes. Now, this article does a little bit of generalization. Clearly, the topic is a bit of a hot button right now because 80% of African Americans voted for the losing party, the losing candidate. So it would make sense that a lot of those people are feeling frustrated, feeling disgusted, feeling robbed again. It's very interesting. When Democrats lose, they tend to, I don't want to say take it on the chin. Democrats are such spineless jellyfish. When they lose, they just walk away. One thing you got to respect the Republicans for is they don't care about playing fair. All they care about is winning. So when they lose, they swear up and down something's wrong. Nah, ain't no way I was supposed to lose. So count them again. 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 Broken record style. They just say keep counting. And they keep looking at the tallies. And if they get one new vote on one of those, count them again. Count them again. I knew something was wrong. Last time you came up to 59. This time you came up to 60. I knew something was wrong. I've been cheated. Count them again. Democrats. Oh, I lost. Bye. They just fly away. I know there's a lot of talk out there about some fishy numbers, but it's coming from the Democrats. And unfortunately, it's only coming from the citizenry of the Democrats. It's coming from everybody who walked into those booths and said, I know who I voted for. But the Democratic Party, so again, you might be feeling that frustration. You might be willing to say, it's airplane time. It's airplane time. It's airplane time. So this article written by Janice Armstrong on November 27th. So again, it's not an old article. It's just December 2nd right now. And the article goes on to say, there was already some hype about going to Ghana, whether that be moving or visiting, but going to Ghana was already a hype before the election. And there were a lot of people that talked real big on social media saying, if Trump wins, I'm out. Well, ante up. If you think about it, if you already know, great. If you don't know, be aware. When Trump won the first election, lots of black people said, I'm out. Now, again, you got to take everything with a grain of salt. I say lots of people. The media says lots of people. News reporting agencies say lots of people. But it's not in troves. It's not like the numbers are so massive that it's a dent in the population. But it doesn't have to be that massive. Like I said, just this year, just a couple of weeks ago, or just a few days ago, even 500 diasporans got their new citizenship in Ghana. So that's a pretty big number just to say you hit the ground running and now you're a citizen. Granted, okay, I'm not gonna get into all of the well, how long were they there? That's not the point. The point is, like, when have you heard of those kinds of numbers? Maybe we should do some research. But the idea, once again, is it time to go? Yes, it's time to go. It is at least time to travel and visit for the sake of seeing what life can be like outside of Trumpville, Trumpland, white supremacist America. It was a Tribe Called Quest. All I am is one black man in a mighty big white hand. That's some real ish right there. That's real. Black voters are feeling it. So the writer goes on to talk about the people that they interviewed. Luckily for the writer, the writer got on the plane, went to Ghana almost immediately after the election. So there's that fire. Interviewed people. One of the interesting stories is a woman. Let's see, what's her name? Jazara Ajiamang was raised by a single mother and grew up desperately poor in North Philadelphia. She'd never traveled outside the city of North Philadelphia. But she took her first trip back to Ghana back in 2004. And she instantly sort of like, she caught the bug. She caught the love. She felt the love. So that's the thing. Like, there's so many black people who, when they leave America and they go anywhere, every time they touch down, they start to noticing. So I said, when you're stuck in the bubble, you think everything is as it is. You think everything is as it is supposed to be. You think everything is exactly how it has to be. There can be no other way. But then when you leave, your eyes start to open. So this person, like I said, it was back in 2004. They traveled. They went to Ghana. They started catching this vibe of life could be different. She felt like Ghana's where she's supposed to be, but she knew there were numerous details to work out. So she had come back. She had a school-age son. She did have a good job in Center City, and she had her own business. So whatever she was going to do, she was going as a person of means. She may not have been going as a billionaire capitalist, but she didn't have the mindset, I'm going to go to Ghana and find me a job. She had a good job here so she could raise her own capital, save her own money. But she already had a shea butter and fashion design business. So she made herself a plan. She traveled to Ghana a few times each year, starting in '04 and '05 and '06. And she, as time went by, she started to realize there were things going on in America that can just be a little bit much to take. Violence is a key word. And she was scared for her son. And this is a recurring theme. If you're a parent, I don't care if you're a male or female, single parent, single mother, single father. If you're a parent and you feel as though the train tracks this country is riding on is desperately dangerous, Airplane tickets. I'm trying to tell you. She was worried about what would happen if the cops spotted her son with his afro riding his skateboard at night. That's a common fear. I'm not even a parent and I can understand that fear. So in 2018, she instructed her children to pack 2 pieces of luggage that weighed 50 pounds each and they were off. So that's a long time. That's serious planning. She first went to Ghana in 2004. She didn't bounce out of this country till 2018. So she took her time. Ain't nothing wrong with that. What was going on in 2018? I do believe that was a Trump administration. Today, so she left in 2018. So we got 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 years. So everything takes time. But today she lives in a 4-bedroom house with a garage in a gated compound that she rents. So she didn't have to come up with all that cash to buy it out and out. She rents it. And how much does she rent it for? I mean, I'm still representing, but I'm getting even hotter in here. And this price that she renting, yo, I think I need to get my own daggone airplane ticket. She's renting a 4-bedroom house with a garage and a gated compound for $160 a month. Do the math. $160 a month. Now, I'll tell you, I know if you don't know, I'll tell you, you got to pay your rent in Africa, in most African countries. Don't get me into no little silly traps. In most African countries, you have to pay your rent a year in advance, at least. Some would say 2 years advance. So you got to pay it all up front. But you do the math at $160 a month. Tell me how many checks, whatever you working today in America, how many of your checks do you need to set aside or pull from to save up like for 1 year? So that's how you map it out. That's how you plan. $160 a month. $160 a month is $1,920. So $2,000 will get you a 4-bedroom house with a garage in a gated compound, gated community for a year. The question is not, is it time to move to Ghana? The question is, what are you waiting for? Tell me where you could get that. So again, this is the Philadelphia Inquirer article. They also interviewed Nyamal Tudil, the daughter of a refugee from Sudan who immigrated to South Dakota. Learned early about what it was like to be othered. So, okay, now hold on. You might say, wait a minute, you reading this article and these ain't African Americans, these are Africans. Okay. Well, if you know what the word othered means, you still know they black people. You still know that they lived in the contiguous 50 states and they experienced the pain from racism. Naimal not only had to deal with the challenges of being an immigrant in America, she had to deal with being black and an immigrant in America. So, when she came over, being from the Sudan, she did not know black American history. Hell, half of us don't know it. But as she learned it, she learned about the scars of being black in America, of being a foundational black American, and little in both worlds, East Africa and the United States of America, Middle America, North Dakota. Daggone well, she experienced some racism. And the way these FBA people be lurking around, she experienced some anti-immigrant black on black hate too. But anyhow, she traveled to Ghana in 2021. She spent 7 days exploring Cape Coast and visiting the dungeons. And she felt what? Felt at home in Ghana. Felt at home in Ghana. Felt at home in Ghana. She returned to the United States and began making arrangements to leave. In January 2022, she was back on the ground in Ghana. So again, She went to Ghana in 2021. She ain't spent as much time. She went to Ghana in 2021, and she was in Ghana by 2022. She told one of her Black American friends, "I don't know how your family did it for 400 years. I couldn't take it no more after 25." That's how a certain segment of the Black community is feeling. We've been here for 400 years. We've been putting up with this stuff for 400 years. We realizing this don't stop. This never ends. We make strides. We 10 toes down in the fight, in the struggle, in the cause. But we also know it's never going to end. You can't stop it unless you stop the cause of it. You can't stop the cause of it as long as the people that's causing it is still causing it. And they don't want to stop. They don't see anything wrong with what they're doing.
The game is deep.
The greatest chance, the greatest shot, excuse the pun, the greatest shot we all had of them learning a lesson, of them stopping what they do, were in two brothers in the 60s, Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. Those were the two greatest teachers that ever could have made an impact on the mind and the heart of white people, not black people, of white people. If Martin Luther King could not teach you to love, you cannot learn it. If Martin Luther King could not teach you to respect, you cannot respect. It's not in you. When they assassinated Malcolm X, who taught the world how to stand up for what you believe in, how to be respectful, how to be honest, and they killed him. Martin Luther King taught them inside their own chosen religion. You know, they had a block up. You could say they couldn't understand Malcolm X's lessons because he was a Muslim. And they were so ingrained with their Christianity that there was a block and they couldn't understand it. Martin Luther King was their Christian brother, their brother in Christ, and they assassinated him too. It's not going to stop. So after 400 years, again, there's always going to be some of us that say, we're going to keep fighting. But it's always been a long line of us that said, enough is enough. It's time to go. Get your plane ticket. You know, even for the Underground Railroad, a lot of people aren't necessarily aware of this. The Underground Railroad went in both directions. Didn't just go north. The idea was to escape to freedom. The idea was not go up north. The idea was escape to freedom. If there's a route up north to freedom, go. If there's a route down south to freedom, go. The Underground Railroad went as far down south as to Mexico, and as far up north as to Canada, and I believe Nova Scotia. They didn't even stop at Canada. They got to Canada and was like, still ain't free, keep moving. So 400 years, we still fighting the same people over the same issues. It's not like it's a new issue. We still fighting for respect. We still fighting for the right to breathe. Look, if you feel like that's just too much, get on that plane. I'm trying to tell you, get on that plane. Go to Mexico, go to Ghana, go to Brazil, go to Jamaica. We was already told in a movie, get out. That was not just a movie. That was not just to scare you for an hour and a half or to thrill you for an hour and a half. So again, I will say, you know, this article by the Philadelphia Inquirer is filled with immigrant Black Americans who got to the point where they said, I just can't take it no more. And they went to God and they left. So why does it matter that the black immigrant is getting to the point where they're beginning to leave also. It matters for a couple of reasons. For number one, all the Tariq Nasheed, FBA, anti-black immigrant campaigning is always focused on them coming over here. They trying to replace us. They leaving. They leaving. They leaving. Some of them are leaving. They not leaving because the Citrus Parade is back in town. They leaving because of all the other people that is stuck on stupid. They going back to the motherland because they realize this ain't it. That's one of the reasons it's important to look at this article like, yo, what's going on? They also leaving because they realize, y'all like my Blue Yeti? Y'all like my Blue Yeti mic? I don't know if it actually shows. Actually, it shows. Hey, this sound better a little bit, I think. I don't know for sure, but y'all like my Blue Yeti mic? Anyhow, the second reason they leaving, which is actually even more important. Nah, I think, dog, this is better. This is better. So the second reason that black immigrants who have come to this country looking for a better way, looking for a better life, are leaving, the second reason that's important is because what they realize is Mama Africa accepts us all. Mama Africa got arms wide open. East Africans are settling in West Africa. West Africans are finding new homes in East Africa. You are an African, you are welcome on the continent. But it's not exclusive to them. Maya Gilliam was running Ma'at-e-Spa. Ma'at-e-Spa. Yeah, you heard me right. Ma'at-e-Spa. So if you know what that is, holla hotep to all my ancient Egyptian students. On Main Street in Winston-Salem, she had what? Her own business. Again, you see the themes. They becoming crystal clear. She felt hassled by local law enforcement as well as bureaucratic red tape, and it all proved too much for the Howard University grad. Eventually, she sold her properties and started over where? In Ghana. So she sold what she had, her properties. If you're just traveling, you want to go just touch ground, see what it's about, you can go however you want to. But when you decide it's time to go for real, it was time to go for a minute. If you either on the I ain't coming back tip or I'll be back later, I'll make that decision in the future. That's cool. When you go on that respect, don't go looking for a job. Go with the concept at least. Go with the idea at least. Go with the mindset of as an entrepreneur. But Maya Gilliam felt harassed in Winston-Salem. The cops came down her alleyway, plainclothes, guns pulled. She told a reporter as they placed her in handcuffs. She said she felt stressed out from PTSD from that incident, and it took her a couple of years to get over it. But when she got to Ghana, all that mess started rolling off. So she set up shop, reopening her Ma'at-e-Spa in Ghana, in Accra. She went back and forth every month, taking her son back to the United States to be with his father. But now, she said, I ain't going back. And her business is improving. She has 3 locations, and she caters mainly to American tourists. I might have to check this business. And she says that she's welcomed. She doesn't get any pushback from the people or from the government. As long as you pay your taxes, you're fine. Because that's what the government wants. Governments want people that will come within their borders, open up shop, and pay taxes. That's the name of the game everywhere, except America. Because in America, they want all the businesses to be owned by the white folk. Juanita Lewis. Now, Juanita Lewis has a doctorate in food science, and that's the industry she works in. Her journey began in 2018 while working in the U.S. State Department, and she created workshops for African women in Ethiopia, South Africa, and Ghana. They loved the work that she did so much that they asked her to come back and to live in Ghana in 2018. She moved around the continent. So again, it's an interesting article. 4 different perspectives. The proper perspective. Make sure that you hit the like button. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Turn on the notifications and leave a comment. So BLAXIT, ladies and gentlemen, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about getting enough out of America. With so much drama in the USA, renting a 4-bedroom house with a garage and a gated compound for $160 a month. It's time to go. It's time to get on the planes.
So much controversy and a lot of deception. You don't know who's coming through with the light and reflection, and whose mouth is mumbling, trick knowledge deceptive. Shabazz break it down with the proper perspective. So much controversy and a lot of deception. You don't know who's coming through with the light and reflection, and whose mouth is mumbling, trick knowledge deceptive. Shabazz break it down with the proper perspective. Shabazz break it down with the proper perspective. Break it down with the proper perspective. It's the breakdown with the proper perspective. This the breakdown with the proper perspective.